Hey folks, it's an action-packed week. Since launch, over 400,000 of you have taken advantage of our free monthly marketplace offerings, and we're thrilled to share that in addition to renewing the initiative for another year, we're celebrating this milestone by releasing 5 new asset packs from the award-winning Infinity Blade franchise, valued at $4 million in development investment, all available now. Mark your calendars for the Creator Appreciation event, a special sale launching on Tuesday, November 5th in recognition of alumni who have contributed to the free content program so far. Thanks to all our marketplace creators for supporting the Unreal community at large. In just 2 short weeks, we'll be kicking off the 2019 Epic Mega Jam, and it's the 5-year anniversary of UE4 Jams. Featuring more award categories and prizes than ever before, it's shaping up to be our biggest jam yet. Join us on the live stream on November 14th for the Jam's theme announced, and then you'll have a full week to create your titles from scratch. Get full details and sign up on the official itch.io Mega Jam page. The high-octane John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum is a neo-noir thriller that plays out against some visually stunning backdrops. Leveraging a VR version of their set, the team was able to quickly switch between lighting scenarios to determine lighting placement or try out different set design options months before the physical set was ever built. Preparations are underway for Unreal Fest Europe 2020, taking place in Prague from April 29th to May 1st. And if you have amazing game development stories to share, we want to hear from you. We're looking for speakers to present sessions that deliver real-world, actionable guidance and insight into any topic that helps developers make their games even more beautiful, inspirational, and performant. All speakers will receive a free pass to the event and accommodations. Fill out our call for proposals if you're interested in joining our lineup. Developers Enhance Games and Monstars modernized the Tetris experience by bringing it into VR with Tetris Effect. We caught up with the teams to find out what motivated them to reimagine the age-old classic and elaborate on how they created the game's surreal and otherworldly presentation. All right, we're on to our weekly Karma Earners. I'd like to give a shout out to Adno, Unearthly Whales, Luos, Crisp Clover, GeoDVS, Shadow River, Mortyneck, D-Demon, Every Nun, and Tour. Thank you so much for all your help on AnswerHub. To highlight the spooky season, our first spotlight is Shadows of Kepler, a sci-fi horror survival game. Driven from Earth, explore the hostile planet Kepler as Sergeant Cooper and try to survive in this new human era. Here we have Root Beer on Tap, in development by the solo dev of Hypernoodle Games. Try to pour as much root beer in this VR 80s arcade-style mug management as possible. And last up is Seiri, The Beginning, inspired by Pixar films. Help the extraterrestrial creature Seiri find a new home and their lost family by exploring a vibrant, mysterious planet. Overcome challenging obstacles together with Seiri's new friends, the inhabitants of the strange world. Thanks for tuning in to this week's news and community spotlight.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Unreal Engine livestream. I'm your host, Victor Broden, and with me today, I have invited Fabrice DeBarge, CTO of Prexinos,
Hi.
and Elodie Moog, CEO of Prexinos. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, we've been fine. Thank you, and you?
Yeah, good.
That's great. Thanks so much for coming on the stream. I think let's start off with one of the amazing tools that Prexinos has developed, and let's hear your presentation.
So first of all, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to show our work. Thank you very much, Epic Games. Thank you, Victor, for being our host today. So yes, I'm Elodie. This is my colleague Fabrice. As you can hear, we're both French, and we both have a long experience in traditional animation industry. We've actually had a lot of productions for a decade. From humble French studios to very large and famous companies in the US, in Japan, and many other places on the planet. And so we decided to create Prexinos with 5 other fellows almost a year ago. We're actually about to celebrate our first anniversary in a couple of weeks.
Indeed.
And so we created Praxinus because we wanted to offer software solutions to reunite 2D and 3D animation within the same environment. Our main purpose is the release of a traditional hand-drawn animation software powered by Unreal Engine in order to keep the great advantage of 3D animation, of 3D environments with real-time technology combined with the spontaneity of drawing. And so this software should be named Odyssey. And I shall share you a little mock-up of what we're planning to do right there. So keep in mind, it's just a mock-up entirely done here with Unreal Engine, but it gives a good idea of what we're trying to achieve. Basically, what we would like to do is the ability to combine 3D backgrounds in final level and having the possibility to directly animate in 2D on levels, just like we have here. We have a waterfall that is applied on a plane. We have the splash animation that is placed on a sphere. And obviously we have here this animation with a teddy bear that can be played through the sequencer. That's what we're trying to do. But here we are still in Unreal Engine. We're not in Odyssey. Because when we started working on Odyssey, we realized, we need to build a couple of things, because we realized there was no brushes, there were no actual place to draw in Unreal Engine. And back in those days, I mean, a year ago, when we started to work on Odyssey, we realized there was no compatibility with tablets. So we realized we actually have to build all these tools. We actually need a canvas to draw, we need a brush, we need a place, a way to pick colors, all these things are necessary to draw, because if you can't draw, you can't animate in a traditional way. And so that's actually how ILIAD was born, because that's what we are actually to talk about today. It's ILIAD. So we realized that if we need to build all these things, so a place to draw, a brush engine, a way to pick up colors, and even work on the compatibility of tablets, we realized there was two possibilities. Either we would keep these tools secret for years, because we need there's still a lot of months of development to create Odyssey. So either we would keep that secret for years for the solely use of Odyssey, or why not actually release that as a plugin to give it to any Unreal Engine users. It was Fabrice's idea to do that, and that's an idea we all embraced at Praxinus. And so that's the long story. It was necessary, but that's how actually ILIAD was born. It came from a project of a animation software to be turned first into a plugin. And that's all. I think now I'm letting Fabrice to give you an introduction to ILIAD. No more talk.
Yeah, so let's start with the plugin. So once you have installed it, you are going to have some new option in the engine directly. So if I just click on Add New, I have like a new category, which is texture. And so I'm just going to make a new texture from here. I have a small window asking for the width, the height. So I'm just going to create a new asset. I'm OK. I can just then right-click and edit my texture with ILIAD. This is it. And this is a basic layout of the plugin. This is really the place where we are going to paint. So if you are familiar with the common painting software like Photoshop or Painter, you will find your way. It's pretty simple and straightforward. I mean, you have everything related to brushes here. So I can select like this brush just to start. Okay, I'm painting. I have some exposed parameter. This is a stamp I'm going to use. I have some other parameters that will be common to all brushes, like the step values, the smoothing, interpolation, and so on. Some basic tools like color picker or paint bucket. By the way, I'm just going to convert everything to a blank page. And on the other side, on the right, you have everything related to colors. So that would be the color wheel, color sliders. You have many possibilities, such as RGB, hue, saturation, luminosity, or CMYK. So you can play with all this. We have a layer stack with layers, and we can tweak the opacity. We can go into blending mode. So that would be almost the same as the one you would find in any software, such as Photoshop, like multiply, screen, colors, overlay, and so on. So this is the basic layout of the software. ILIAD will come with a wide range of tools, and I just would like for now to show you a few of them so you can have a better idea. So here I have some basic crayon. I could use something else like scratchy pen. So this one is more darker. I could use like some tools that would just be really common if you are an artist. You are probably used to have an airbrush. Okay. You can also use some drizzle. Oops. Okay, I'm just going to select something else. So as you can see, so the plugin is really having a wide range of tools that anyone can use. So it's really good for painting. So here I just have shown some really common basics, yes. Then after there is more complexity we can bring to that. Of course, you can tweak the size, opacity, flow. You can even change the blending. For example, you can erase with this, but that's still very common. I can switch to less conventional tools, the tools that would be more procedural. So say, for example, I'm going to use tools that will smear colors. So I'm going to use a smear spray. So the more I'm going to push with my stylus on the tablet, and the darker it's going to be. So that's pretty nice to draw like trees or clouds. Then what else can we have? That is cool. We have a pixel stream. Pixel stream is nice. I'm going to use the blue, and the more I push, and the more rectangles I'm going to have, and they all follow the direction of my stroke. So in that way, you can build interesting textures. It's really up to you. And even we can go to painted stamps. If I use like this one. So here I have my stamp, as you can see, with many exposed parameters. I can tweak them. That's exposed parameters are parameters that are typically specific to that brush. So I should have this here. I have some examples, some other examples of leaves.
All of these brushes should be included within the package when ILIAD will be available. So you can study them, see how they were built, and get inspired from the brushes to create your own brushes.
Yeah, and if we can achieve so many different results, it's mainly because the brush engine is blueprint based. And this is really one of the strongest points of the plugin. If I can just I'm going to make a new brush so you can have an idea of how to get started with the plugin. So let's make a new asset. That's an asset that comes with the plugin because it doesn't exist with the engine. So I'm making a new brush. I'm going to call it live. Okay. And I'm going to double click. Okay. So here most of the people watching this live stream, you recognize the basic blueprint interface. It's much simpler because we have less possibilities when using brushes. In terms of blueprints. but you will find your event graph, your functions, your macros, your variables. You can compile to check if there are any errors. You can save. On the right part, you would find the overrides. I'm going to cover that maybe later. And the new nodes. And there is a wide range of new nodes you would find that would be like Odyssey brush. So they are still under the Odyssey name, but the plugin is ILIAD. It's Elodie has explained it earlier. But there is a really a wide range of nodes. So they are the ones that would help you to manage and retrieve information from that stylus. That would be the pressure, that would be like the altitude, the azimuth, that would be the position on the screen. And everything is just available here. Then you should be able to work on colors. So you can get a color and just split onto different channels. That would be RGB, CMYK, and you can work on colors onto each channel. And then we combine everything to make a new color. We have some functions, and we will have some transformations. So that would be flipping, rotating, resizing. You can use matrix as well. You can combine and compose matrix. So there is a wide range of possibilities. So if I want to do something fairly simple at the moment, I'm just going to use that wire on step, or maybe I should just cover what is a step before, so everyone will understand it. The step is the amount of pixels I'm going to have between two stamps. So here my stamp is just a one brush, and every 50 pixels I'm going to have a stamp. If I just change the value to, let's say, 15, I will have more stamps. Okay, and if I really go to like 1 or 2, I'm just going to have a line. It's very simple, and anyone can understand this. Okay, and so let's be back to the graph. So I'm just going for now to use a simple stamp. Simple stamp. This is it. So on every step, I'm going to stamp something, and I have to decide what I'm going to stamp. So I'm not going to stamp a Boolean. I just need a texture 2D. That would be this. Okay, compile, and I'm looking for a stamp. So
and that's something interesting here, because here the stamps are just 2D texture that were imported in Unreal Engine. And what we plan to do with the release of ILIAD that is that many other stamps will be available. And actually all these stamps comes from actual drawings made on paper that were scanned and cleaned. We have many of them. I can show. We have watercolor, we have painting, we have crayons, we have ink stamps, and so on. I had some fun.
Sorry. Yeah. So I'm just going to add some new nodes so now I have just my stamp. Maybe I should call it stamp. It would be much better. Stamp. And so I know what I'm going to stamp on the image, but I just need to tell to the brush engine where I'm going to do so. So I'm going to use the node get X and get Y. This is it. From this, I can already paint something. Let's try. So I need just the live. Okay. And this is it. I'm painting. Okay. But right now, I'm just, if you look, I'm tweaking the size and nothing changed. Okay. I would need some other nodes. Even if I just change the color, nothing is changing. So I'm going to add some new nodes to my graph so I can improve the situation. And so let's go. I'm going to paint this all. Okay. So I would like to have resize. So resize uniform should be okay. Resize uniform. So I'm just going to plug this here and here. And I'm going to use the get size modifier. Thank you. Okay, I can select the resampling method between nearest neighbor and bilinear. It's really up to you to choose the quality and over the fastest brush. So bilinear should be good. So now if I paint with this, if I use a very small size, say 32, okay, it's painting. But if I use 80, it's okay. But with ILIAD, you can really go to very, very big brush. See, here I'm using 500 and even maybe
something
more.
I would like to precise. I see on the screen it looks like it's laggy, but it's not on our. So it's very fluid on our screen. That's
I just have no idea, but yeah, hopefully it's.
Yeah, that's
it looks pretty good over here.
Okay.
Yeah, the refresh rate is okay.
Oh, okay, great.
So yeah, everything in the plugin is multi-thread. So the more powerful your computer is, and the bigger stamps you are going to be able to use. Then after, all will depend on all the nodes you are going to use. Say if I want here to change the color, I'm going to use the fill preserve alpha. Then connect again, and I'm going to add a color. So get color. This is it. And why not use the pressure sensitivity of my stylus? So I'm going to use get pressure. Get pressure, just right there. Okay. And I'm going to multiply this. So float, multiply by float. This is okay. Plug, plug. And I should have something really interesting, hopefully. Oops. And if I change my color, it changes. Perfect. Good. And so step by step, you can build your own tool. It's really, it could be really fun. In fact, it's also a very fun way to learn blueprints and to discover what you can do. And we can really go to very complex brushes. Just to give you an idea, I'm just going to open this one, kaleidoscope. So before just drawing with it, okay, here we have something which is much more complex. Okay, if I look at it, I have loops, I have branch. So if something happened, do that. If something else happened, do something else. We have mass expressions. We have some other new nodes that would be specific to ILIAD. We can use vectors. And for that specific tools, in fact, it's going to stamp at several positions at the same time. So if I use this, so I'm going to use the blue and you.
Oh, wow. It's really cool.
So it's pretty fun. Yeah. Another example would be, we have a text brush, I think. Yeah. But the text brush is just a brush to paint with some letters. And
obviously, it is the most useful brush ever.
Yeah. The interesting part is in blueprints. We get a string, we pass every letter into an array or maybe a struct, and then we assign a specific bitmap to each letters, and then we stamp. Because right now I'm using a simple stamp, so we are using bitmaps, and maybe later on we will develop some text stamp, so we'll be able to like have an input that would be to type fonts. So we'll see anyway if you guys, the community, is interested to have some specific way of stamp images or fonts or whatever. So this is it. You have an overview of how it works. Then maybe I'm going just to close all this, and even this one, I'm not going to save. Sorry?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay. And
maybe we'll then show a couple of examples.
Yeah. So here, Maybe first, yeah. We have a few paintings we have made with the plugin, so at least you can see anyone can use it for just painting.
And I take the mouse.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Fortunately, it's
you could have a lot of use for this in the 3D environment.
Closing that's necessary to have it running behind. So yeah, now we're running. We will be showing a few different examples of what we can do with ILIAD. First thing I would like to show is, well, actually, when I think 2D and when I think video games, I immediately think about sprites and all these, because I grew up with old video games like Fabrice did, and probably many people watching us today did too. And so I would like to show you how ILIAD can be used to paint sprites and do tile sets and stuff. So first of all, I will create a new texture. So obviously this time I don't need something that high. I will use something smaller, like let's say 68 over, no, not 68, 64 or whatever. 64 over 128. Yep. And so I can edit with ILIAD. Something you may notice at the moment, we have some glitches that may happen when you create a new texture. It's annoying, and that's something that must be fixed, but it's not the case right now. But whatever. So for this sprite, I'm going to use a pen brush. This pen brush is not a procedural one. It's a classic pen brush based on a just a little dot like this. So it's not very useful when you paint on very large texture because it is elized, so you can see the pixels. But here in our example, it works pretty well. So I shall take a color to make a trunk because I want to paint like a tree. Okay, something like that. Perfect. And we'll add another layer to paint more details on the trunk. So we'll take another brush called a pixel brush. So this one just uses a simple stamp. Just take another color. Just use a simple dot like this. So it's very convenient when you want to paint precise stuff. So obviously I'm not doing something very, very accurate. It's not the purpose here to do something very pretty, but it's just to explain how you can do something very quickly. Now I will paint the leaves on my tree. So I will take the brush showed earlier by Fabrice, that is the leaves brush right there. But I will change the color. We'll do some, let's picking like more orange, red, fallish colors. And if I paint like this, okay, it's great, but it's wide too big. So I will lower the size a little bit, and I will lower here the spread as well. That. And now I should paint, So this brush is very convenient when you need to create a big stack of randomly colorized pixels, which is really convenient right there. So here, obviously, the result is not really perfect. It's just here again an example to explain how it works. If we go here in our projects, we can see here into pixel art where these are. Here we can see different examples, like we have two different bushes that were drawn into. It's much too large, so it's not very pixelized. Here another tree that was drawn. I took more time to make this tree. And a sword and another bush and mushroom and stuff. There is another way, as I said, to use ILIAD is to make tiles, to make tile sets. So I will create another texture there. And again, it's way too big, so I will use 256 over. Can you move the keyboard because it's mashing? No, on the right. Just because it's mashing on the.
Okay.
Jack. Yeah, perfect. Sorry. And 256. Perfect. And I can create the asset right there. Okay. Again, the little glitches. We haven't seen that.
We're doing it live.
And so here we have we have the tile set, and I'm going to use a nice brush that is not really made to paint anything, but rather to paint grids. It's done by Fabrice because he's our brush specialist. And it's actually using just a single pixel to paint a grid like this. But here, obviously, it's not interesting because we have too many pixels there. So I would like to have a perfect tile. And let's say I would like to have 4 tiles horizontally and 4 tiles vertically. So let's do some math. 256 divided by 4 is 64. Yes, I'm really good at math in my head. It's not because I rehearsed that a couple of times. So let's paint that. And here we go. And I will face it. So here we have the grid. And I can create then a new layer, place it under the grid, take any other tool to paint, and brush, please, again. And I don't know, take any color and paint, and then add layers, add details, take another brush to paint anything I would need. Let's add a brush, and I lower it and paint up something like that. And so on. I could spend hours to make tiles, but obviously it's not the purpose here to do that. Instead, I'm going to show you a proper rendering right there. So here we have the element drawn in ILIAD, where you have a couple of things. For instance, here the trees were called using a simple brush called stamp. That is very, very basic. It is just made to call any texture from your from Unreal Engine, from the Content Brother. So I could use a tree or something, or like say use bush. I hit this one, and so I could snap it somewhere here. Here it's quite too big, but you understand the point. And so again, once you've done the tile sets directly in ILIAD, you have the possibility to turn it into a proper tile set. I mean, like an Unreal Engine object. So we'll close that. And so here we have the Unreal Engine tile set that was used as a tile map right there, to make tile maps right there. So then you just have to select, and you can paint your lever just right here, which was put within our level. There we are. And as you can see, we have another animation. We have an animation. We have another sprite we haven't covered yet. And so this is another way to explain how ILIAD can be used. It can be used actually to make quick animations. I will show you the details about this one. So here, if we look at the flipbook, you can see it was made. It is made of 4 images. And actually, those images came originally from the same project. I just did it with ILIAD, and it was very simple. Actually, I just created a texture that had a special size, and I think 80 by 80. And so I just created the first flame. Then I duplicated the layer. I hide this one, and then I take the pen brush again. There, I use the erase mode, so I can erase that, and then I can take the right color, so I can use the color picker to paint then the rest of the flame. And so I did that 3 times. I duplicated the layer 3 times to make 3 different images. And then each layer was exported like this, because we have a possibility to export layer as textures. So each time you create a layer in ILIAD, it can be exported as a separated 2D texture in Unreal Engine. And actually, it's something you actually have to do if you want to keep your layers, because at the moment, since we are editing Unreal Engine textures, at the moment we don't have a way to keep the layers within the 2D texture. It's something we also have to find a solution for that, but at the moment it's not the case. So if you want to keep all the layers, you have to export anyway using that tip. So we close, no, I don't want to save it. And there we are. We have our little animation here in our level. So that's done for the 2D world. Now we are adding another D, and we'll go for the 3D world. And I'll be working with sweet little girl. So as we can see, this little girl is quite pale. There's no details on her skin, so I shall work on her. And so edit with ILIAD. And this time we will be working both on ILIAD and the viewport on the left. I might actually change here something, yeah, looks more normal like this. Great. So first of all, I will create a new layer like that. And let's say I would like to draw her eyes. Fortunately, we have an eye brush. The stamp is made from a vector-based drawing. And it has something interesting is the fact that if I paint on it, I draw with it, it draws symmetrically. So each time I'm drawing, it paints stuff there like this. But you will notice that's a very bad method to find the right place to stamp her eyes. So I will display her mesh, which is much better. So I use the Elodie level. Should I say my level? Because my name is Elodie. I don't know. Yeah, bad joke. Sorry. So I will zoom in. And I will stamp the eye right in the middle. There we go. We have her eyes. Now I'm painting the white. It's Claretic, and I put it below. Again, I will take my pen brush because it's very quick to use. That one. Use white, and I paint all this Claretic on that side. I use the shortcut P to pan the canvas. And there we are. Now she looks more like a human being. But let's now go a little further to add more details on her skin. So I will put her a little makeup, and I will use a makeup brush right there. There we are. So again, this brush is also very interesting because it can also paint symmetrically. I'm going to say, change the color. If I do something, we can see it paints symmetrically like this. So here we're painting on the horizontal axis, but we can also play on the vertical axis like this, or both. Okay, so let's put her some lipstick. And maybe it's Halloween, so let's make her like a goth girl like this. And I shall, let's say 15. And I'm painting her lips very quickly.
Yeah, that's a big advantage of the 3D real-time technology, which is behind the plugin. You can really get the instant results. And you don't have to go into another software to do some little adjustment like this. So it's pretty convenient.
Make very flashy eye shade. And I don't know, let's make her blush just like I do. Yeah, very flashy. Yeah, it's almost like a clown. It's awful.
A little bit of a mix between Easter and Halloween.
Yeah, that's it. That's young girls, don't do that. It's ugly. And yeah, let's get rid of the makeup brush. Now let's play with another one, like the freckle, which is made to make freckles. So I won't use red because it looks like she will have chicken pox. Yeah, there, much better. Very tiny little dots on her nose and her face. And another one we can say, because here she's not ready to party yet. So let's go for another brush, which is the tattoo stamp. It is really nice because this one is actually made of an array of 6 different brushes. If we click on it, we can see here we have a heart, we have a lotus flower, and we have many other ones. And to pick up the right array, we have to change here the number here in the value. So if we want the, for instance, the last one, this is the one I want to use, I have to use the sixth texture. If I want the hot, I have to use the 0 texture, and so on. So I've created an array, yeah, I did. And so I will snap this tattoo right there. And now she is ready for Los Días de los Muertos. And there, we change her skin because here she's too vivid to be a dead girl. So I'll make her white, and then yeah, she's all ready to trick or treat.
That looks awesome.
So maybe now I'll let Fabrice again to talk about the other possibilities with ILIAD, since we can go much, not really photorealistic, but a little bit.
Yeah. So I just wanted to try to apply this to more realistic people, because we are in a cartoony situation, I would say. So I took that guy from the content example, and so let's go a little bit closer. Okay, I'm just going to, whoops, cut this, no. So the guy, I'm going to open the diffuse, edit, and he's going to add a very, very bad moment with me, I'm afraid. So let's start with a breeze brush. Okay, and it has some exposed parameter.
You later.
Oops, sorry. I forgot, indeed. It's always better when you use layers. I'm saying that to students, and I just don't apply it. It's okay. So this is it. It's a brush that is using its one colors. I mean, it doesn't use the color wheel or the sliders. It just has some specific colors. You can even change them, but that would be those 3 one. And each color has its one weight. So I can decide how much of that color will be on the screen, which is quite convenient in this situation. And once again, this is an array of stamps we are using randomly to get something really natural. And what's next? Maybe it's Halloween, that's it. So I'm just going to add a scar at some point in. So here, that's quite a lot of stamps again. And they are going to follow when I will paint, I'm just going to make a stroke, and that will follow the tangent and the normal of my stroke. So let me zoom. Let's do that. And this is it. Okay. Yeah, really. Then now I made quickly a broad brush, which is using 3 stamps and 3 different ways to use colors. So it's maybe the time to show you that we can just divide a color into RGB, and why not then after getting the HSL, change and tweak some channels, then we combine everything and colorize. We are using some math as well. And I'm going to quit back here, and if I like you this, oops, well, I should have maybe have used, or maybe I'm going just to erase that. I can change my blend for my tool because I'm not happy with this. So I'm just going to erase, okay, and just put that onto another layer, which will be here with a specific blending mode, which is multiply. Multiply is okay. And let's go back to the blood. That gives, whoops, much better results. Okay, same here. And it's really interesting because the fact you can just export every layer means that then you can recombine your textures onto a specific material you are going to use later. So it's good for testing, for drawing, and then it's up to you to work onto the material to get and achieve exactly what you want. Then sometimes you can build your own brushes to work pretty fast. If I look at the tank here, I'm just going to close this. Where's the tank?
At the bottom. Yeah, right there.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
Thank you. I'm just going to.
Teamwork.
Yeah. Oops.
Wait.
Okay. Okay. So I have a 2K over 2K texture. I'm going to open my camera brush. So once again, this brush has some specific parameters, some specific color it's going to use. And well, every time I'm going to paint with this, you will see that the colors are going to change and shuffle. So this is it. Oh, it's too small. Let's use a bigger one. Okay. So I have an array of stamps that is going to be randomly used, and another array of colors which are going to be used as well. And so that's the way you can paint on anything. But they are a much more complex situation, even with simple 3D meshes, such as this barrel. Okay, so let's have a look to this. So I'm going to the barrel. Okay, so here I am in position. I have a diffuse map, an UV map, specular, and many things. So it's a more complex material. So let's open it so we can have a look to this. See, we have many textures. Okay, so I have to deal with all that. And let's go step by step. Okay, so I'm going to open this one. Whoops. Maybe I just keep that one. Remove this. No. Yep. And I'm just going to make a new layer on this one. And my problem is, first, maybe I'm just going to improve a little bit the colors so everyone can see. Let's multiply and use the paint bucket. So yeah, you can see there is some kind of metallic aspect to this. Yeah. And my problem is there is a tile. If I use, I would like to basically to add some rust to this. So if I use my rust brush, I will get immediately into problems. I mean, okay, it's just making what I want, but oops, if I just paint like this, and if I go at the border of the texture, then, well, it's not working because I should be painting at the same time on the other side. And, well, you might not be comfortable with that. And that's exactly where the fact that the brushes are using blueprints is really cool. Because for that specific situation, say if I use like a new texture, create a set, okay, perfect, open. I have made a specific function to get rid of this. Let's open it. Okay, so this is going to be a new stamp. I did call it looping stamp. It has two new options, which are tiles. And it's really huge because if I go into that function, I open all this, then I can go into sub-functions. And there are many branches, as you can see. And then here I'm going to have also many conditions, situations, and so on. But all this is just bringing me the ability to like paint. But every time I will touch the border, it's going to come back on the other side. So in that way, I can paint like this. Ooh. And I'm sure I'm going to build a seamless brush, seamless style, sorry, or seamless texture, I should say, actually. And that's what I'm going to use on these assets. So let's close this. We don't need that one. Whoops. And so if I lose like 3,
should be on that one actually.
oh yeah, sorry. Thank you. Yeah, because we added some empty place in the material to add some rust.
But the texture is used in several places. It is used both for the base color, so we can see the color, and is combined with the normal map, so we can, carve, can, give a like a little volume on the barrel.
So as you can see now, I don't have any problem. If I touch the border, it will paint on the other side, and it's pretty good. Then after, whoops, sorry. Then after, it's up to you to tweak, erase, change things. You can add so many cool stuff. Let's add something like, this one, maybe I will tweak the angle. I'm just going to stamp this. Whoops, it's in erase mode. Oh, it should be right there. And once again, I can just erase and find rest. That will be looping, and rest on the top of it, or even erase a little bit, and it should be okay. And if I need, I can always rotate everything so I would be on the right position.
And of course, you can also display the mesh to be sure where you are about to paint.
Indeed. I should have started with that.
Yeah.
What is
Just
it?
right there.
This one. Okay, LOD number 0 and UV channel 0.
Yeah.
So yeah, that way it's.
And if we go to the material, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we go at, maybe I will just take that. If we go there to the parameter, we should increase the value of the, we can see it's more and more deeper like this.
Oh.
Thanks to the, it's far too harsh, but that's, the purpose of the rest. I leave you alone.
Okay, and just to finish, it's let's open now this one, which is a normal map. And I just wanted to try this, and it was pretty fun actually. I created a normal stamp, normal crackers. Oops. And let's go maybe some place here. We'll see if it works correctly. It's going to add crackers, but there was
maybe you should delete what was on the rest, because
I think it's too much.
Yeah.
So let's just delete this.
Yeah, we go.
And here we go. You can see we have many crackers anywhere. And it's cool because when you switch to other software, and there are many software which can do this already, then you re-import everything. It's a long process, and sometimes the results are not exactly the same within the engine and within the other software. But here you can really exactly have in your game what you see, and what you see is what you get. Sorry, what you see is what you get. Difficult for us, and that's a quite important point for anyone, I think. Well, this is it.
Yeah, and I was about to say something important. Something important must be said here. We don't want to. We haven't made ILIAD to be in competition with software like Mary or Substance that are incredible pieces of software. Here, just like Fabrice said, it's just like a tool to help you to make little changes if you are looking for photorealistic renderings. But here, what we have in mind is still to focus on painting on 2D aspect that can be brought into an Unreal Engine. We are not looking into being in competition with Mary, Substance, and other software like that.
Yeah, if you're able to see the the post process and everything else that you have in your scene, and then immediately, you know, the color or what the UVs look like.
Done.
Yeah, it's a good tool to run some tests and check quickly if everything is okay, but it's just changing a color or texture. It's, yeah.
Yeah, I was maybe about to show a few graphical examples if you're curious, just to see how we can actually use graphical things on a realistic 3D model.
Yeah, absolutely. I think chat seems really excited. A lot of them are.
I can see the chat say.
There are still a couple of examples, and then we will answer.
Yeah, just the two last ones, and then a big surprise that was not planned on the schedule. So here we have this little dagger that comes from the Canton, the marketplace as well. And so I maybe take the mouse right here because it's more comfortable for me and my back. And so I will take the dagger right there, and yeah, if we go into to the material, we can see how it was quickly made. And actually, what I love to play with emissive. So here we will be applying a texture on the blade of the dagger, and it will apply a color that loops from a clear blue to darker blue, and then switch off and be enlightened again. What a broken English, that's awful. So we'll edit that texture with ILIAD. And again, I create a new layer. And so we'll display the mesh first to know where I have to paint. There we are. Oh, perfect. And this time I will use, not the pen brush, I will use Frost. It's one of the very rare brushes that I have made. And this one is nice to say to make, as I said, Frost. And maybe I will zoom in a little bit so you can see. Yep. And yep, we can see how it works. And so we'll be using that brush here on the blade and make it a little bigger, and so I can paint like this, and you can see in real time the rendering and the emissive part. Lower the opacity as well. Yeah. So if you want to make like a magical axe dagger, it's actually working pretty well, I guess. And other example, so there, finish the scene. So here we have our little pumpkin. And so I'm going to work on that to carve it. But first, let's look quickly into the material. So it's a more complex one. And we actually have different interesting things. So we have, yeah, the specular and all the things. And we also have the base color, plus another texture that would be used to paint on the pumpkin. And that painting will be reused here through the normal map to looks like we carved into the pumpkin. And then later I will add another part. So I will reuse again the texture to carve the pumpkin, and I will combine it with another one, this texture there, to put lights within the pumpkin to make like there is a candle within the pumpkin. So let's carve it. Yep.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instances of
yeah,
the plugin at the same time. It's quite good.
Yeah. So I'll use the shortcut R to, no, not yet. Focus. Okay, the shortcut R to rotate the canvas. There we go. And I will use makeup because it's really comfortable to draw symmetrically. And I wanted to paint the Unreal logo, but since you already have it on your stage, I'm not going to combine. And so I will, what I'm going to do, I will increase the flow, and I will lower the size a little bit. There I am, and I create a new layer, and I put in black, and so I should paint not symmetrically because I forgot to change the symmetry center. Bad Elodie. So here we are, like 48 by 148. There we go. Okay, so this time should work. Yes, it's working. Maybe I will up like this. Maybe a little up. And yeah, that way. I'll make her smiling. Here we are. And so now I have carved into my pumpkin, so we can see here, thanks to the normal map, looks like there is there's some depth, yeah, in the carve. But obviously, since we're not really mastermind yet with Unreal Engine, if you turn, you can see there is no real carving. Maybe we'll find a solution later to do that, but it's not the case right now. And so I carved the little pumpkin, and now I'm editing this one to create the light, the candle within the pumpkin. And so first of all, I will change the color so you can see how it looks like. Here we can see how the colors is changing. There is a gradient from black to red. I can create a new layer, and I will use smear brush. There we go. And so this one, just like other brushes Fabrice used earlier, this one is using two colors. So I will paint gradients that are depending on the pressure on my stylus. So first I will paint very strongly, and yep. And then we can see the light that slowly appears within the pumpkin. And there we are.
That looks awesome.
Thanks. And yeah, so here we are done with what we were planning to show you until this morning. Now we're ready to show other examples.
Yeah, in fact, we went to animation studios because we have a 3D animation background, and we visited a couple of them, and they told us, for those who were already working within the engine, that they wanted to be able to do storyboarding within the engine, and that was something really cool but really complicated at some point. So last week I had in mind something maybe to improve their workflow, and I think I'm going to give that with the plugin as well. Nope. Okay. Maybe we can keep that open and just open the storyboard. So I asked many questions in the Unreal Developer Network to make this happen. And so I made exactly an editor utility widget, so I can just run it. It's really simple. I didn't have time to build cool buttons with everything. There are only 3 options, and the basic idea of that is just it's making a setup. And that setup is just going to bring you a master sequence. Then you can add empty shots, or you can find a folder with many images. Click on add shots from folders and get everything directly into the sequencer. And that's what we have done here. And if I just lock the viewport to the shots, now I can play one of the very first animatic made within the engine and painted with the plugin. And so there are many improvements we can do for that. It's done with the scripting plugins that are available within the engine. And you get some shots with some specific names. You can enter inside each shot and get your camera cut, your camera actor. If I switch back to the 3D view, let's switch back to this. Okay, you can see we have everything which is close together, and we jump from camera to camera like this. And so we might add, depending on the community and the needs of the people, but we can add many other options, just like to insert specific shot or specific painting, add some empty images, maybe open the plugin to tweak them. But anyway, that's really where we are wanting to go. I mean, it's making storyboard animations, 2D animations. So for 2D animations, with a lot of work, and it's not going to be in the plugin. It's the biggest.
There's still a lot of work to do.
Yeah. But the bigger project which is behind, which is Odyssey.
Yeah.
But at least if with the plugin we can already do that quite easily and quickly, that would be a good step, I think.
Which brings us to actually what are the improvements to come to ILIAD? Because at the moment, ILIAD, even if it is great, there are still things that are very basic. For instance, you probably noticed that if we are so worried about adding always a layer, it's because we can undo what we drew. We can only kill, erase, but you can't undo. We haven't an undo stack yet. That's something that must be done before we release the plugin. It's one of the most important priority right now. We're still missing shapes like rectangles, lines, circle, and all this stuff. So you probably saw the icons, but they're connected to nothing at the moment. They are almost done, but it's just a matter of days, weeks to be added. In terms of smoothing misses, we just have average. So it means that maybe you can show add any texture. I don't care which one. Yeah. Perfect. So yep, that's it.
Thank you.
So yeah, we only have the instruct options. Yeah, right. So here we just have the average mode, which means that depending on the stroke you do, you can have a delay between your between your stylus, between the cursor and the line, because it is smoothing the line. So it's something made on purpose. And there are other ways to smooth a line. We can use gravity, we can use pulled up. We can also make, for instance, we have options like catch up that is not working right now. And we can also add HUD or HUD, I don't know how you pronounce it, to display what direction the line is going to take. There are a few things like that should be added. We need automatic gradients, because here we just have the big paint bucket that can paint colors everywhere, but we don't have proper way to make gradients, like just draw a line from this to where there, and boom, you have your gradients like in other painting tools. We must add options to transform, resize, warp, or move an object on the canvas, because it's not the case yet. And we also need to bring tools like selection tools to select area, move this area, and tweak them. That's still missing. Shouldn't wait anything.
A few other things, if I may.
Oh, yeah, please.
Right now you have seen that the depth of color is just 8-bit.
Yeah.
But the plugin is going to work in 16-bit as well, but you would need 16-bit stamps, and same with 32-bit. Yeah. That should be soon within the November probably. Yeah. So yeah.
So for tomorrow.
Sorry.
For tomorrow.
Oh no!
I'm joking. Sorry.
For the end of November.
Yeah. What else? So as I said very earlier during the live stream, is the fact that when we started to work on Unreal Engine, we realized there were no tablets were not compatible with Unreal Engine, so we had to edit Unreal Core to make it compatible with ILIAD, because if we couldn't use the tablet, it would make sense to make a painting drawing. And now, since Unreal 4.23, there is Unreal is natively compatible with ink tablets, which is actually great. But still, I think we will probably develop another tiny plugin, so we'll be also compatible with Mac, with Linux, and so WinTab API for Windows, so we can use the full power of Wacom tablets, for instance. And something, yes, yeah, also adding aliasing. There are a few things that still have to be done, but
better thumbnails, maybe.
yeah, better thumbnails as well, yeah, or maybe a little cosmetic stuff to be added. And so that's why, yeah, we had to delay a little the release of the availability of the plugin. We hoped to release it for this month, but finally we will probably be releasing it.
That would be at the same time of Unreal Engine 4.24.
Yeah. As a beta version. Yeah. So it will be free for a limited time, but at least it will be free. Because
that will be on the. Will it be available on the marketplace then, as its first release?
Yeah. Because we actually, what we are looking for is a community. We are looking for people who can use the plugin, give us feedbacks, tell us what we should improve, what is not a priority, everything. We used to work that way for a decade for another company, and that's something that really miss. We actually are eager to talk to you guys and know how you actually like our product or not.
It's almost one of the very first time we show our work, and now we are really keen to get feedbacks and to know what direction we should follow.
Yeah. Go ahead, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Praxinos, forums, Unreal Engine forums. Yeah, I'm the one who manages all of things. So go ahead. I'd be really happy to read.
Do you have a Discord channel as well?
Yes, we have. It's a private one, but we can actually create a public one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's another good place for the community to give immediate feedback and maybe report bugs and whatnot and talk about how it's working. I'm very impressed with just the entire scope of the plugin already. There were a lot of questions during the first couple of minutes, and you sort of covered them all. It was like, are there layers? Okay, yeah, there are layers. What's the resolution? Oh, it's higher than we need. Okay, great. So it's very impressive. That was a great presentation. Did one of you draw all of the images that you had in the project? The elf and
it's a combination of all people from Praxinos. There are drawings made by Fabric, there are things made by me and by other
Clément.
It's Clément. Here it's Antoine.
That's you.
Yeah, mine, and the dog is mine too.
This one is mine. Sorry, no, yeah, for the credits. So okay, Elodie, Clément, that's me. That would be Elodie and Antoine.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're beautiful.
They cannot be here today, but anyway.
I hope they're supporting us from afar.
Yes, I believe maybe we can verify Galendil Onara. He seemed to know a lot about the plugin and the future of Praxinos, so I think everyone just assumed that he works with you folks.
Maybe it's people from our family, I don't know.
Yeah. Would you guys be ready for a couple of questions that came through?
Sure,
yes.
Go ahead.
All right. Something that I wasn't entirely sure if we touched on was if the plugin and the drawing is vector based.
No, it's bitmap based.
Yeah.
It's bitmap based at the moment. We are thinking maybe in the future to bring vector based elements, but not immediately.
All right. And then just to repeat, since some of these questions were answered by Galendil and you folks as well, what are the max and min resolutions that you can do with ILIAD?
You mean when painting with a stamp, or the texture on the canvas?
I believe the texture itself, the texture that it creates.
Okay.
And
we have the same limit as the engine, which is AK over AK.
And then, of course, it depends also on the power of the computer.
Yeah. Sure. But in the engine, I think the max resolution definition is 8,192 over the same.
You did it.
You did it. See, and then they were asking if you can draw paint directly on meshes, and I believe you can indirectly paint on the meshes in the texture.
Yeah.
And so, but you're not able to like actually paint in the viewport on the mesh, right?
No.
No. That's something. Well, to be honest, it's not a priority right now because, as we say several times, we want to focus more on the 2D parts, so making our next purpose here is to create an animation layer. So we would like to focus more on what we know very well, which is 2D animation industry. But I'm not. But it doesn't mean we won't never do that. But it won't be a priority.
Maybe something that should be done is having an idea of the area, the place where your stamp is going to be stamped. Sorry.
The area.
Area. And because once we get this on the 2D canvas, we can get it on the 3D. So you would know exactly where you are on the 3D mesh. I'm not sure if it's
because at the moment when you paint, you don't know what you're about to paint until you actually painted it. So it would be nice to have a display of the brush before you actually paint it, before you stamp it in place.
Yes, some kind of HUD you would also have in the 3D viewport.
Yeah, and that will give you a little bit of a reference. If you want to do more free form as well, sort of try different things and check it out. That's really cool. They were curious how many bits per channel does the tool support?
So as I said, right now we have 8 bits.
Yeah, 8 bits.
But
it won't be complicated to bring the other bits to have 16 and float images. Yeah. It's not done right now, but it's already in the process.
That's great. And then when will this be available? Several people were wondering when, and we answered that it will be around the release of 4.24, right?
Yeah.
Right, which is still to be announced, because I believe the next question will be, so when is 4.24 coming out? It will be this year. Let's see, we covered that one. Can you merge layers?
Yes.
Easy. And then
not several layers, not a bunch of layers, but just one by one at the moment. But it won't be complicated to select layers and then merge all of them in once. But at the moment, just one by one.
Yeah, you have some.
Do you want to bring up the screen, Greg? Then we can show them just real quick.
Not sure.
Thanks.
This is just one that if you right click onto one layer and merge down.
But it just merged with the one below.
Nice. Yeah. Easy peasy. Let's see. And another resolution question. We answered that. Let's see here. They were asking if it works on other assets like Paragon characters, and I believe yes, that's the case as long as you have access to the texture and the model.
Not with Paragon characters, but with the Infinity Blades as well characters. So.
You mean you tried them?
Yeah, okay. I know, I remember, but I don't remember where all the characters come from. I know, for instance, that the easels and the brushes and the palettes here come from the marketplace, and from the back, so we had the dagger and.
We had a couple of things.
There were a couple of things that came from the content place, but I can't remember if they are from Paragon, from Infinity Blades, or any others.
There was a nice, I don't remember exactly who did that, but there was a nice car.
It doesn't come from the marketplace.
I saw those images, and the flames.
That's it. It was the one we used for NSC Festival.
One of the very, very first things we made.
But so maybe we didn't understand the question.
They were just. I believe the answer is that yes, you can work on any models and textures that exist. Within the engine. They were just being specific about the Paragon characters.
I think it should be possible. Most of the things come either from the content example or from the marketplace. There are a few things like the pumpkin and the girl that come from I don't know, any other site where you can actually buy 3D assets. But can be anything.
We purchased a few assets and we tweak them a little bit with Blender. So yeah.
Let's see. And they're also a little bit curious about Odyssey, and if is it still on track to be released in 2020? Tough question.
We'll see.
Maybe, perhaps an alpha test.
Let's see. They were curious. Is this possible to do at runtime and save out the textures?
Oh yeah, you mean like you're playing as a video games, right?
Correct.
Yes.
So yeah, we made a quick test about that this afternoon. So and we just try to play into a level and
I don't know if we can actually play a level. We haven't tried that.
So I maybe should open. Let's open maybe the doc.
Yeah.
What is it?
Canvas.
Canvas. What is it? It's one. Okay. Then edit. This. Oops. If I just hit the play, I should be playing. And if I release this, let's use
whatever.
Yeah.
Paint on a dog face.
Yeah.
Nice.
So as you can see, I'm playing and I'm painting at the same time. So
and if you stop, it remains on place. Yep.
This is it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I believe they were talking about the possibility of being able to add it as a feature to a game, which I believe would require a little bit of extra work, considering that all of the tools are editor only, right?
Yeah.
But just the fact that it works at runtime and that it updates at runtime, that's really cool.
Yeah, this is clearly beyond our knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's something we have to check because it could be really simple or really complex to develop. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I will give you more
that's
answers
typically the kind of things that we would be really happy to discuss with people who would like to try ILIAD, so when it will be available, of course, to make that kind of test. It's really great for us to know all the multiple use case can be
ways to use this.
All right, let's see. I have a couple more for you. During seamless tiling, can you multiply the tile so you see a 3x3 grid?
Not yet, but that would be pretty cool. I think it's actually missing, but it shouldn't be that hard. By now, if you, maybe should be, sorry. If you look here, we used a big plain mesh, so we can check in that way, but that was not convenient. So if we can do it directly within the plugin with just a simple shortcut, that would be great. And I understand your point. I mean, it's I think it's maybe doable. Yeah, just hit a key and you get the missing part, so you can check how it's tiling. You get it? Yeah.
Yeah, we can follow up. I will make sure that you guys get all the questions, so that if there's something that you want to fill in more information on afterwards, we can head over to the forum and answer them. Is it GPU or CPU based?
It's the brush engine is CPU based, but everything that would bring that into the 3D real time in the engine is GPU. And in that way, we are not taking resources from the GPU, and so we keep the engine as responsive as it was without the plugin. So I think it was the best choice. Because the engine is mostly based on GPU, so we are not in competition to get the GPU, RAM, or VRAM, and so on.
And that might require a much beefier GPU than to be able to do both. How do you find drawing in Unreal Engine in general? Do you find that you have to do extra tricks to draw accurate lines?
At the moment, I would say that since we are still lacking of procedural pen brush, yes, a little bit, because if you are looking for a very clear line, since we can't have at the moment a smooth pen brush, yeah, you are to work a little bit to have a good quality line. If you are looking for something more graphical, like more like charcoal or crayons or sketchy or something more sketchy, I think would be quite good. But in terms of responsiveness, it is the same as other painting software.
We are doing this live on the 8-core computer with 64 gigabyte of RAM.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not that powerful. I mean, you now have computers with something like 32 cores, and and we are still responsive. We even had several sessions of Unreal open at the same time, and you are still able to draw. So it's okay.
And I will also bring a point I forgot earlier about the improvements. We are still working on this is actually the biggest thing we have to finish for ILIAD. It's a graphic library, because it's something we are developing, because basically Unreal Engine is based on OpenCV, and we are making our own graphic library to be able to make much more things, to have very large textures, as you could see, but even larger, because we know Unreal Engine should sooner or later have like 16K on 16K textures, which is really, really large. Because at the moment we're limited to RGB models, but when we will finish the library, we could also work on LIAD models, which is more convenient to make real gradients, accurate gradients, and many other things like that are still in the process. So it's at the moment one of the biggest challenges we have to deal with to finish properly ILIAD.
That sounds good. Can you create layer groups / folders?
No, not yet.
Not yet, but
won't be difficult to do.
It should be done, yeah.
Let's see. And then they were curious a little bit more about the options for the tools. Is there select, cut, paste, cut and paste?
Not yet.
No, not yet. Not yet. That's among the improvement things.
So the usability improvements. Let's see.
To-do list.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, if you do vector-based in the future, will you be able to switch between the two, or will one replace the other?
No, it will be between two. We don't plan to get rid of bitmap. We are from bitmap, and we want to keep bitmaps.
But there are ways to tweak that a little bit, because we can record some stylus position on the screen when using a bitmap, and maybe so we can maybe be able to change the shape of the lines in bitmap. We'll see. It's a big work, so it's not for tomorrow. We have to see.
Yeah, we're a tiny team, so we are working really with baby steps.
Yeah, step by step.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually the next question. How many people are working on the development of ILIAD?
So the company is so we have 7 associates and actual 8 workers. It can be explained because we have chosen a very special status for a company. We've chosen to be a cooperative company, which is quite rare in France and abroad, which means that associates must be employees in general, and so every associate is an employee, but some employee are just working like 1 hour per week, and they're just acting like consultants, so they can give us advice. Because, for instance, one among our associates, we have a 2D animator and storyboarder, so his advice are very priceless. And so among the people who are really active within the company, we are 5. And among these 5 people, there are 3 developers, and Fabrice, who is the CTO, and me, who is the cheerleader of the group, and the female excuse, the female quota.
All right, and I think we've actually made it to the last question, and they were curious if the plugin, if it's open source.
No, not at the moment. No.
All right. Those were all the questions, and I think we're up at time as well. That was about an hour and a half. Thank you both so much for coming on the stream. Chat's been really excited. I'm pretty excited, especially considering that I'm not an artist who's very familiar with drawing inside other tools like Photoshop or Blender or ZBrush, and it seems to me that I will be more familiar with your tool because of my experience with the engine and the engine's interface and the terminology used. And especially when it comes to, it seems so quick to prototype something or be able to get something in really quick without, Fabrice, like you mentioned, this sort of import, export, where I can just, I wonder how this would look like, and I can immediately just draw it inside the engine. So it's quite impressive. Excited to see it released. If you just joined recently, they mentioned that it will be released around the release of UE4 424. So that's exciting. Thank you both. What time is it for you guys right now? I think it's pretty late, isn't it?
It's 8:30.
Okay, not as bad as some of the guests I've had on the stream. Some of them had to wake up at 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm looking at you, Chris Murphy, if you're watching. So once again, thank you so much for coming. Let me just mention a couple of things that we do every stream to mention to all you guys who are watching. The entire stream is captioned, and it will be uploaded as a transcript to the channel, usually within a week or 2, depending on the length of the stream and the technical language that we use during it. It's a really good resource, so you can go and search for keywords such as shader, material, blueprints, etc. And you can go and find out where in the stream we talked about that. We know that the streams can be a little bit long, and it's sometimes tricky to know which part of it that might be relevant to you. So for me, the transcripts really helped being able to go back and know where we talked about something specific. As always, let us know how we did today, what you thought of the stream, and what you would like to see in the future. I believe Amanda will hopefully be pasting I think she already did actually, and there might be another link coming in the chat. Let us know what we did, what you'd like to see in the future, and then if you give us your email, you will participate in a sweepstake for an Unreal Engine t-shirt. And I believe it's actually this t-shirt right now.
Or just before, because I know we're about to end the conversation and the live stream, I mean, I would really like to thank especially the 3 developers who worked really hard on the plugin just before the live stream, because they really crunch a lot to make things really smooth and great for the live stream. So thank you very much, Clément, Thomas, Mike. Thank you for your work.
And maybe also all the guys who helped in the Unreal developer network, because I asked so many questions about blueprints and scripting the interface. So thank you, guys.
Sure, appreciate it. Yeah, chat, give it up for everyone who worked on the plugin. It's definitely impressive, and it looks stable. Everything seems to work. You did mention a couple of glitches. That's quite normal. It's not the first time we see that. In my opinion, it looks like it would be ready for me as a user to use, and so that's impressive. So thanks to everyone who worked on it. Make sure you hit up our user groups if you would like to meet other developers in your area. If there is no user group in your area and you are interested in what it means being a user group lead, send us an email at community@unrealengine.com, and we will tell you all about it and the possibility of being able to set up a user group in your city. Our community spotlights is something that we have every week. If you want us to let you know, or if you want to let us know what you're working on, make sure you hit up the forums. The release channel is a great place. Discord is another, Reddit, you name it, all of these social media channels, we exist there, and we would love to see what you're working on. We are getting a little low on our countdown videos, and we think they're a very cool part of the live stream. To send us one, as a prospect of being one of our countdown videos, take 30 minutes of you working inside the editor on your project, fast forward that up to 5 minutes and send that with your logo also to community@unrealengine.com, and we might have you as the countdown. Don't add any overlays or such. We will do the countdown, but please send us your logo so that we can put it on there. If you're streaming on Twitch, make sure that you use the Unreal Engine category so that we know what you're streaming, that we can follow along, everyone else. And then make sure you follow us on social media for all news Unreal. And a big special thanks to Elodie and Fabrice and everyone at the team at Prexinos for coming on, spending the time with us. I think we're all looking very much forward to the release of the plugin. And I'll make sure to let's update the forum announcement when the plugin is live, so that everyone can go ahead and check it out. And I think without further ado, next week Tim Hobson is going to come on the stream, and we're going to talk about how to keep calm and look for the checkbox. So I hope you all will join us then again. Until next week, we're saying goodbye and bye to you all. Thanks so much for coming on again. And that's it for today. Have a good day. Good night for everyone. Good evening. Good morning, maybe. Bye, everyone.